I think it's good. It's okay. It's aight.
Did I name it in Twitch? Okay. So go live. One going live. I need to mute it.
Are we allowed?
One, I got four of them to activate. Okay, that one's going. Looks like YouTube just goes automatically. Okay.
Are we back on YouTube today? I mean,
I went to the I'm going to try it and see what's up.
hmm.
As long as we
Maybe
don't
the
stay in
maybe the
20 minutes
beloved
every
gods
day.
of YouTube have forgiven us for our transgression.
Okay, last one going live on it. Going live. This is my personal one. All right, 4 platforms we're going to stream to today. So we're on my techno activist page on Facebook. We're on my personal YouTube page. We're on my Twitch page, and we're on my my personal Facebook page. And one thing I want to do, I want to share my screen with you.
All right.
Share entire screen. I gotta figure out which screen to share. I think that one's 4. Nope, not that one. 3. There we go. Wow. Okay, that's weird. I don't want that because it takes. You can see it, but it takes over my screen. I don't want that. So what you made, if you want to watch the video, you have to chime in on one of my live streams. You can watch the video that way. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the sharing here.
So you have a video to show us the start of this, bud?
I got nothing, bro. We're just gonna talk and freestyle it today.
Oh no, I was gonna say I'm just gonna talk and we'll just roll with the topics as we go along.
We are live. Go for it.
Are we? All right. So D, it's been a while, man. Happy New Year's, bud.
Happy New Year to you, my brother.
And Happy New Year's to every one of you guys out in TV land. It's been a little while. The holidays were insane for I think all of us here. Lord knows, D. Like I mean, this was a really like crazy ass 2 months, eh?
Yeah. Welcome to 2021. All the way up until the end of 2020, it has been a different adventure.
Well, I mean, a lot of people saying that 2020 was a rough year, and it was. But I mean, I'm like, it's not like 2021 is going to get better immediately. Yeah. It's not like the clock's going to turn midnight and then suddenly everything that went wrong with the previous year is going to go away. You got to let that shit kind of ride for a moment or two.
That's right.
And then gradually things will kind of get out and get better.
For sure. I have been sheltering in place since 2019 because I was out in 2019 as well. So 2019 and then 2020, I'm like, oh gosh, I have surfed this couch.
So I can only put it like, so I'm going into the office today, dude. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, now I have to go and put on a pair of actual pants, instead of like sweatpants or the shorts I usually walk around in and whatnot. I had to put on some actual pair of pants.
Hey.
And I realized something horrifying, man.
What's that?
I need to get back in the gym.
Oh, hey, I do a 5K every day, bro. Come on.
I mean, I don't live anywhere near you, my man.
Well, what I'm doing is I think I'm just going to do it virtually and just like, hey, here's my 5K, post a picture. I was thinking about starting a Facebook group to do it. Because when I mentioned it on a Facebook post, a lot of people said they wanted to do it, but, no one's around me. I'm like, look, you don't have to be around me to do a 5K. Let's just, I'll just get out there and repost our 5K.
Mm-hmm. I would also point out that it'd be too cold out there for a 5K for me, man.
It's not bad. I've been walking every day, and I'm also going to the Y and walking in the track when it's really, really cold. But dude, like on Christmas Day, I put on a jacket. The day was snowing. I went walking, and I was fine. It was snowing and windy, but it was also I needed to get out the house too. So
I mean, I understand. Like you've been trapped in the house since Give or take. We've been trapped in the house since give or take. What was it? 2019, basically.
Yeah, it's been a
Like
long time.
you were doing quarantine before it was cool. So I can
never
understand
phrased it
how
that
you
way,
just
but yeah,
need some
that's
time
true.
out of the house. I just need to get out for like 10 minutes just to do something else.
Yeah, quarantine. I was quarantined before everyone was cool. That's funny.
But that being said, though, D, I mean, I would say that like these last 2 months have been some insane shit, man.
Yeah, man. Especially the beginning of this year, but yeah, the last 2 months, a lot of stuff was going on. So blessed to be here. Blessed that my family is still here. My friends and
Mhm.
families are still here. So all the craziness we got going on in the world. I consider it a blessing that I'm still around, and everyone I'm around. Everyone that I know is still around.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine so, man. I'm just happy that well, here's to a better tomorrow. That's the only thing you can hope for
That's
nowadays
right.
is a better tomorrow.
Have a better tomorrow. Yes, sir.
You live, you learn, you get a little older, you get a little less dumb, and you hope to survive the stupid shit you do in your youth. Yep.
At least we hope so.
Mm. So like I tell you what, dude. Like I was telling this to you guys to D earlier in the show before we went on the air. So I would say to everyone out there, like be careful with motherfuckers today. Please, please, please be careful.
Yes, sir. Tell us what happened.
So I'm going off to so I'm going in the middle of Atlanta, right? Just minding my own business, doing some shit. And I'm walking out of a store, and then these two guys in a van come up and say, "Hey, you want to buy some speakers off of them?"
Mm-hmm.
Now, I grew up in rural South Carolina where I've seen people come into a store doing that kind of thing, right?
Right.
And I've seen people buy off of them. Heck, my own family members have bought off of them. Sometimes they have good crap. As long as you have plausible deniability, you might get something out of there.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, remembering those lessons from the lessons my forefathers have taught me, I'm like, okay, I have my key in my pocket, ready to stab these fools if push comes to shove. We're in the middle of an open parking lot, so anyone can see them if they try something.
Yep.
So, okay, I shall humor you. And they go off and say, hey, we got some speaker systems, man. I'm like, okay. I'm looking at this stuff, and it's like it's no speaker systems I heard of. And they're talking about, oh yeah, it's $2,000, but we'll sell it to you for 200, which I'm like, hmm. So I would say that a quick Amazon Google search, I didn't even see on Amazon, so it shows me that it wasn't legit. So the thing is that you go through these things and just go for it, right?
Yeah.
And so I, being an entrepreneuring kind of guy, questioned them, and they said, oh, it's fine, and then they go all about their business, I go about mine.
Yeah.
My point of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have to be very careful about these kind of things. Where you got to be careful because scammers are really upping up their game.
Yeah, that's true.
They're
Especially in
doing
2020 and 2021.
Oh, most definitely. They are really upping up their game, upping up their front. And I'm not afraid to say that I've been scammed before in my life.
And I have too.
Like, there's no shame in that. Like, I mean, like I remember being young and dumb a couple of years ago, and I thought someone was selling me something that was pretty cool. I thought I was hitting up in a deal,
Yep.
or at the very least, I thought I could resell it. Next thing I know, it turns out it's basically. I basically broke. If I were to sell it, I would have basically broke even.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough. I guess I get lucky with that kind of stuff. But I'm not much of a salesman, but I get it. Like, there's no shame, ladies and gentlemen, of if something happens like that and you get scammed. Sometimes a guy they're smooth talking, they get you on a bad day, and you're just not on your A game, and it happens. It's not about. It's of course about being street smart about this kind of thing, but sometimes it doesn't matter if you're street smart. You gotta be sometimes it's just a bad deal.
Yep.
Like how often do you get these phishing posts, D, when someone comes on for Netflix, Team Netflix, and saying, hey, your Team Netflix's account has been hacked, or your account has shown some suspicious activity, please reset your password.
It's pretty bad. All the time.
Yeah.
And the rule of thumb to avoid email phishing schemes is that if it's a service provider, they will use your real name. So if you get an email about some type of account that you have and it doesn't have your real name, suspect it's starting out already sus. So that's a key indicator right there. the lack of your name in the email.
Yep. These guys are going to go through and try to do all sorts of little things to try to trick you. A lot of the easy ones are pretty simple. A lot of these guys are coming from like not coming from English speaking countries.
Yeah.
So they ran their stuff either through an auto translator or not a very good translator. And so there's obvious grammar mistakes, obvious little grammar ticks. It doesn't look professional in the slightest. It looks like someone took the YouTube the service contract, the bare minimum of it, and adjusted it just enough so where they can get through.
Yep. Another indicator is that if the text is an image, so it's just like you can't select any of the text, and what happens, the image is a FUI, is a fake user interface, or is trying to get you to click it so it'll take you somewhere. That's another notion. So if you hover over the text and there's a cursor as opposed to the line cursor, that's another indicator it could be phishing scheme. So these are all techniques and things that I use to avoid phishing scams. But I find myself sometimes that I'm not thinking, and then I'm just on autopilot, and I've clicked something. I've clicked a link. I'm like, crap!
Mm-hmm.
I just clicked that, and I'm like, I have no idea what that is. Another thing that I use to verify email is that if it's an account, something about one of my accounts, and I'm concerned about it, I will go to my account and log in to verify that message is validated, as opposed to clicking any of the links in the email.
Yep, that's like I want to point out to everyone again. Remember that this shit's real. It's not if someone gets you, it's not because you're dumb. Well, maybe sometimes it is, but I mean, a lot of times it's not because you're dumb. These guys are getting more and more sophisticated, more and more clever about how they're doing it.
Right. And we're bombarded 20 times a day. All you need is one time to slip up.
Yep. And sometimes, and like D said it when he was doing it, he's like this man has a degree. This has been a 20-year man in the industry, in the biz. He's been here since before the internet was a thing. So this guy knows what fish, like knows when someone's trying to fish him when he sees it. But you know what? It happens. Like, here's the thing, right? If these guys would have caught me, like the guys who I saw this today, if they would have caught me any other day, they might have got me.
Yeah.
They could have. And then, you know what? I mean, I would have to eat shit, and they would have to eat shit and deal with the money.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's like a little bit of money then, and somebody you can deal with. So I can, you live, you get better, and you live on, but you got to recognize the signs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether they be online scammers or they be in person. Like, make sure you check your stuff, as Dee said earlier. Like, don't go if there's a website saying it, go somewhere else around it.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to independently check your stuff, whether that be in person or out of person. Like in my scenario here, when they're trying to sell me some shit, I check Amazon.
Yep.
And I couldn't find it on Amazon, right?
Yep.
And since I couldn't find it on Amazon, I'm like, well, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, I know, right?
And so that means that I don't know if you're legit or not.
Yep. That's a good part. That's good on your part.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's all about going through and just trying to go through and make sure that y'all are you look for the signs and be street smart about it.
Yep.
Let me phrase it. Be street smart, but also accept the idea that you may not know. Oftentimes, one of these scammers will come up to you and they'll probably promise you something like saying, "Oh, this is a real quick deal. We need you to get in and jump in quick." They're trying to prey on your fear of being left out.
That's right. Are you missing out on
the huge deal of a lifetime?
Yep. That is true.
And they get you flustered. Take a moment, breathe. Do you really think that if this person had a thing that will, make you a shit ton of money, that they will be selling it in the middle of the street? Or they'll be emailing you they'll be sending you an email, like a random email over the bit.
Yep.
You gotta be careful.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Like, tell you what, dude. Like, I want to tell my worst scam story because I want these people to understand, like kind of get an idea. So just to throw that out there.
Right, hold on, Shane. Let me go get me a cup of water. I'll be right back. And then you tell me the story. What's that?
Go ahead and get yourself a drink, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be a long one. So I'm just going to say, ladies and gentlemen, just be careful out there. Like, especially in the year of our Lord 2021, just be careful, look out, and keep it straight.
All right, Shane, I'm back.
All right. So here's the. So I was in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of a joint called Vima?
Vima?
Yeah. So they were an energy drink joint, right?
Wow. Okay.
So, but it was one of those energy drink joints that was basically a pyramid scheme, right?
Oh, okay.
So they didn't make their money from selling energy drinks. They made their money from getting people to sell, for having people buy the energy drinks to sell. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's like Mary Kay almost, where you go in there, you buy, you go in there, you go in there, you buy. They convince someone to go in there and buy a pack, right, of 200 drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you buy 200 drinks, the goal is like, say, okay, you get, I can't even remember it because it was so long ago now, but it's like if you get someone to buy underneath you, like if you convince someone to join the company, basically, you get I think 5%, like 20% of the commission or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And you also get a percentage of whatever the people underneath them get, right? Right? So let's say that I'm in this company, right? So I am the initial guy, and I bring you in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I bring you in, it's $100. If I bring you in, I get $100, right?
Right.
And if you bring in two people, I get $50. Mm-hmm. And if you bring in two people, if they bring in two people, I get, I guess, like $10 a piece, right?
Yeah.
So Vima was one of these companies that was really going after like college age students, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they would go to colleges, they'll recruit one or two kids, and those kids will recruit kids, and et cetera, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all a big scheme because they're not selling any drinks or any shit like that, right?
Right.
They're just trying to get, they get money from the initial people joining that $200 hit. If they sell some energy drinks, fine. I mean, the energy drinks taste like crap, like all energy drinks, but I mean, they're supposed to be healthy energy drinks, but whatever the fuck.
Energy drink like Surge energy drink?
I did not.
No, like the Surge and Mountain Dew energy drink. I remember it was Surge.
Oh yeah.
Or
like a Surge,
like Red Bull energy drink.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm asking, was it like a Red Bull type energy drink?
No, yeah, it's like a Red Bull type of energy drink. Yeah, it's supposed to be organic and it's supposed to be ready like a bit or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's the bit. So I'm going in. I go in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go in here, and I'm talking to a friend of mine from high school, and he says he's going to be. He got this good networking opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a young broke college student who's eager to meet like business owners and stuff like that. Get myself out there, talk to people. He's a game designer just like I was. So I'm looking forward to this. Like, oh yeah, shit, this is gonna be awesome. We're going to go through and I'm gonna go in there. We're gonna go in there, meet some people. It'll be awesome. I put on my Sunday best, and I go out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing is basically a pitch. Like everyone's talking about how great Vima is and all this stuff. Like I'm a young man who's never been involved in this kind of thing before.
Right on.
So I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I'm like, yeah, I'm talking to people, like talking about my games, talking about my ideas, what I'm learning at school, looking like a goddamn clown because I'm just happy to network,
Yeah.
And these fucks, then they come in, they run a whole video, they try to get you pumped up. Mind you, every other person in there is basically working for Vima already. So it's in their best interest to make sure that you join. They go in, they make you join, and then they go through the rigmarole. And they convince you that, oh my God, you got to join us right now. Because if you don't join right now, it's going to be terrible.
Yep.
And like an idiot, I went with it. And then it was one of those things, a gut reaction. And then I went home, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like after you had a good night's sleep, and you kind of thought about, it, I'm like, "What the hell was this?" Like I didn't, like it was stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt so bad about it at the time, and I felt like I was an idiot. I was dumb. I was fucking a fool. But I'm a young idiot who didn't know no better.
That's social engineering, right? I mean, they have planned for that, right? They catch us off guard, tell us all this stuff, and have learned how to apply certain techniques to get us to sign up. Absolutely, it's not your fault at all.
Yeah, but I bring that up to the ladies and gentlemen just so they give you guys a warning. I know this is pretty, like, this incident today just brought that back up to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I want to have a talk about scams and misinformation today. I don't know. Maybe let me get off my soapbox. D, what's new with you?
No, that's good. Scams and misinformation is great because it actually increased a lot in 2020. And it has become even more of a problem, especially since we're all at home, sheltering in place, and doing a lot more things online. It has become a big deal. It's all over the news now, and a lot of breaches are occurring.
Yep. I think it's just one of those things where you just kind of have to be careful,
Mm-hmm.
You got to be careful. You have to consider what you're going with and who you're interacting with,
Yep.
And also consider the media that you are consuming.
That's right.
Because here's the thing, right? And I'll say this applies to both sides. So I don't care what your politics are. Vote for whoever you want to vote for, motherfuckers. But as long as you're going out there and doing your civic duty, I don't really care. But remember that couple things that at the end of the day, you got to live in the same country as these other assholes.
Yep.
Like you may not like how the way of your friends or family members or loved ones or whoever or some random asshole on the street votes, but at the end of the day, you got to share a country with them. Remember that, because it's just how it is in the end of the day.
That's true.
Insurrections and shit. Like what the fuck? It's gonna be shit no matter what. It's gonna be shit no matter what, ladies and gentlemen. Accept that.
That's true, my brother. That is
true. But I say. Let me change the subject real quick, and let me ask you a quick question. Are you a fan of Star Wars, D?
I am a fan of Star Wars, yes.
Are you a big fan of Star Wars?
Yes, I am, and you can find my Star Wars persona at Chewchilla, TWM, Chewchilla the Wookiee Monster. You can follow my Star Wars persona there. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I don't think I have an Instagram.
So, quick question, D. Before Lando showed up in the second movie, was Chewbacca like the universal black guy in Star Wars?
I'll have to say no. I'll have to say no to that one. Because the old one, Chewbacca was... He could be. It depends. So let's look at some of the qualities. He's big and strong.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely protected everybody. He could. I never thought about it that way. He could be the universal black dude.
So I was talking to a couple of old heads the other day, right?
Uh-huh.
And they were talking about how they viewed Chewbacca was their dude until Lando showed up.
Yeah, that I never looked at it that way, but now that you say it, and now that I look at some of the context, he might have been the universal black dude.
Like I guess I'm sitting here thinking about this. It's like I guess back then you had to choose your heroes where you can get them.
Yeah.
Like growing up, like one of my favorite shows was Dragon Ball Z, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is no black people in Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, there's one.
Huh?
There's one.
Piccolo. Yeah, Piccolo.
And Mr. Popo. When that
man,
that would call a huge argument. Oh, there's one in there.
Man, no one considered him. No one even thought about Mr. Popo because he never showed up. He showed up like once every blue moon or two.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to think of the black people, you thought of the Namekians. Like they were the black people. Like Piccolo was the bruh.
Yeah.
Like in the school I grew up to, like everyone would say, "Okay, I'm Goku, I'm Vegeta, all right, I'm Goku, I'm Piccolo."
Yeah. Like Piccolo was the black dude. And Gohan's real father.
You know what? I think that's a bunch of bullcrap. That's unfair to Goku.
Whatever.
Like, how is it like? All right. How is Piccolo Gohan's real father? Didn't he kidnap that boy?
And raised him and taught him how to fight. It's
He
Piccolo
did
who
that
did
for a
that.
year.
No, dude, Piccolo still trains Gohan. The primary trainer of Gohan was Piccolo, not
All right.
Goku.
So no, let's look at this from a timeline standpoint here. So Gohan gets born and raised by his dad for 4 years. Basically, imagine Kaio up to like from the time Kaio is born to where he is basically right now. His daddy gets killed in front of him, and the guy who killed him kidnaps him and then says, "Now you have to fight."
No,
Think about that.
Chi Chi raised him. His dad may have been around, but Chi
Oh,
Chi
that's
raised him
unfair.
his first 4 years because Goku out training and doing something. I mean, look at the new Dragon Ball Super.
These
Go.
kids are like, Goten's like 13, 14 years old.
He
He's old enough to take care of
farming.
himself.
I mean, but this is his lifestyle. Is what I'm getting at. Goku out doing other stuff than being with his kids. Yeah, so yeah, he was alive the first 4 years of his life. But he wasn't hanging out with Gohan.
What? Like D, I'm surprised. Like, when Kyle, when I turn, like, I'll give you an example here. I love my dad. Goddamn knows I do. By the time I'm 14 years old, I want to hang out with that motherfucker. Like, by the time I'm 14 years old, I'm going to hang out with my friends. You know, I'm going to do, adult crap. You know, I'm going to go out there and stay out up all night and then pretend like as though I'm smoking or something like that.
Yep,
I don't need adult supervision.
that's true.
I ain't trying to hang out with my pop. I mean, I'll hang out with my pops because I love them and whatnot. But I mean, that's not the end goal of my day.
Yep.
Like, maybe is it possible that the reason why? I mean, like, I'm sure that if by the time Goten's 14 years old, Gohan is basically an adult. He has his own kid.
Yeah.
He has a baby. He's trying to raise himself.
Yep.
Like, I don't think Goku needs to be all up on them at that point.
That's true. But we're talking about the early age, So back then, Goku didn't do much to train them cats. And Piccolo spent a lot of time. Remember they were like living in the desert?
He kidnapped him.
Who
else was Gohan going to be spending time with?
That's his real son.
So not only that, but I remember this, right? So everyone forgets that bit where Piccolo kidnaps Gohan, and instead of immediately training him, he leaves him on his own for about 3 months.
That's right.
But that's his real daddy, though, right?
That's training, man. He got that boy tough. He got that boy where he needed to be because Goku wasn't gonna do it.
Goku was dead.
He put him in the. Even when Goku comes back. How many times Goku has died for Gohan?
Huh?
How many times has Goku died for Gohan?
Listen out. There's that time he got killed by Piccolo.
But that wasn't
there's
for
that
Gohan.
There's that time he sacrificed himself for Cell.
Gohan wasn't in trouble.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Raditz was going to kill the entire planet.
Okay. Well, okay. With that being said, yeah.
Like, Raditz was going to kill the entire planet. He helped his son out with Cell.
No. See, that's why I'm going to say no. He put his son. He was like, okay, son, now it's your turn to go fight the most powerful being on the planet. And you got, as opposed to Piccolo, like Piccolo would have took Cell and took him out.
Like, he put his son out there because he knew his son was going to whip his ass.
Yeah, no.
And guess what? He was right.
He turned that kind-hearted kid into a killer.
Kind-hearted kid? What the? Like, this kid. But let's really evaluate this here, by the way. So, in order, so he gets kidnapped by Piccolo, forced to fight a bunch of Saiyans who killed all of Goku's friends around him. Then, without Goku saying yes, went off into space to go grab a bunch of magical balls to bring back those dead friends.
Yep.
Then encountered Frieza and his minions. Then got his neck broken by one of them. Got beaten the heck up by a bunch of other ones.
Yep.
And then, like, he's about to die. His father comes in and saves him, by the way. Saves him from Recoome and them. Then, gets body snatched and all that, which wasn't really Goku's fault. But, a bunch of other stuff happens. Like Goku fights Frieza to save his son's life. They go back to Earth. He spends time with his he has to make his way to Earth because he doesn't have instant transmission by this point yet. And then he spends a whole year with his son, and then another year in a hyperbolic time chamber before he dies
that's the
again.
Only real time for me. That's the only real time Goku spent with Gohan.
Man, whatever.
Time chamber.
Like, if you want to say Goten, maybe. Like, Goten's raised the first 7 years of his life without his daddy.
Yep.
Like, that's an argument. But, like, for Gohan, nah. Gohan knew who his dad was.
Piccolo. Shh. I mean, watch Dragon Ball Super. Who Gohan hanging out with? Piccolo.
Maybe that's just the guy he likes to hang out with.
His father. Absolutely.
I'm just saying, maybe him and Piccolo are cool. Maybe I just want to hang out with this dude. Like, sometimes you want to hang out. Maybe you want to hang out with your cool uncle rather than with your stuffy old dad.
Okay, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. I will give you and say that Piccolo is his honorary uncle. But I will give you no further than that.
All right, I'll meet you halfway.
All right, fine. But the whole story of this starts off with Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
So you heard about this, the High Republic.
I've heard about it. And people are starting, I think it's out. People are starting to talk about it. I haven't heard any details about it yet.
Yep. So they got the books. The first books are out. The first comic book is out. The comic book Star Wars: The High Republic, and a bunch of other stuff. Just that's out now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't speak for the other. I can't speak for the other books, but I can say that I'm well aware that like, the comic book was pretty good.
Really?
This is a good first issue.
I'm looking it up now. The High Republic Adventure #1. It's called... Oh, okay. Tell me about it. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning.
All right. Yep.
Okay.
So it's 7:38 now, ladies and gentlemen. This is your first, last, and only spoiler warning. We will be discussing the events of the Star Wars, The High Republic comic book #1. Please be advised. Thank you. And we may also talk about The Mandalorian too, because season 2 just ended. But we'll see what happens.
We can talk about it, but I haven't watched it.
No?
Mm-mm.
But we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
All right. So the book starts off, and there's this young Padawan, right? And she's basically going through an adventure to be ready for her knighthood. And it's basically just Star Wars and the Old Republic, kind of an interesting little start. She has to save a village from a bunch of rampaging space locusts. It was pretty good. A decent little start to the whole shebang-a-bang,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's interesting. It's like, there's a certain sense of grandeur, like, it's only the first issue, so you can't really speak too much on it. But the feelings I get out of this book was that it was there's a much more adventurous sense than it was in other Star Wars. Like, it's the most adventure I've felt in Star Wars in a while,
Good, that's what it's called. It's called Adventures. So the names are Older, Tillobao, and Naughty. Looks like the writers or maybe drawers. And on the cover, it looks like to be a brown-skinned person with, it looks like locks.
Yep. So there's this the Padawan's name is Keeve Tennis. Then she's hanging out with.
I'm looking her up.
All right. So here, so I was going to say Degrate. Look at the comic book, right? Look at the comic book and tell me that the person to the blonde haired woman. Tell me she does not look like Jodie Whittaker.
I don't see that one. Okay. The book.
Mm.
The High Republic, Light of the Jedi, Star Wars, High Republic hardcover.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure, that's fine. Like, that's the same woman.
Yep, it does look like her a little bit.
Like, I'm sitting here looking at this girl in this book, and I'm like, that's Jodie Whittaker right there.
Yeah, with the 4 people on the cover.
Yep. Speaking of which, D, that reminds me. I've heard talk that Jodie Whittaker is going to be going out of. She's going to be leaving Doctor Who.
Yeah, this is her last season.
They confirmed that?
Yeah, it's confirmed. She's out.
Oh, dang.
But 3 years though, and then pandemic, so 3 seasons. That's about average for
Fair. Yeah, fair enough. Because Tenet was only on there for about 3 years too, right?
Tenet did like an extra year. He had a nice little run. I want to say he of the new Who, he probably had the longest run.
Mm-hmm. Oh no. So why don't you do? What were your thoughts on her run? Like up
I
to this
haven't seen
point?
a lot of his shows yet. I'm still forthcoming to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that I did see were it's tough for me to watch. It's just boring. So that's why I haven't made it through it yet. I got them all on my Plex server, so I just need to catch up and watch them.
Well, that's disappointing, but I mean, fair enough. Fair enough.
So I've only made it through like the first 6 of her first season. So I need to pick it back up and watch those. What we do need to talk about next show is The Expanse.
The Expanse?
Oh yeah. Are you watching that one?
Oh no, I need to go watch The Expanse. People keep telling me I need to, and I've been kind of a lazy bum about it.
Yeah, it's one of the best sci-fi accurate shows out there. Next to Babylon 5, which is to me the ultimate best sci-fi series. Expanse is pretty high up there. On my second watching of Expanse, I am finding some writing flaws that's annoying. Just some characteristics of the characters are annoying.
In The Expanse.
Yeah, but it's still a really good, visually stunning sci-fi series.
I think sci-fi. I'm surprised sci-fi isn't making more of a comeback nowadays.
Yeah, man. A lot of people like sci-fi, and it's we're tired of that old trope. The traditional heroes. Action hero in the '90s. Sorry, the '80s and the '90s. It was the action hero was the star, right? And then I guess 2000s has been about comic book heroes. Right, so here we are. I guess things are being reinvented. There's a lot of people like you and I who have been screaming for sci-fi, more sci-fi, right? With diversity in it, we're getting it. Like with shows like Star Trek Discovery. Have you watched that one?
I mean, I was never a big Star Trek fan.
Oh, okay.
Like Star Trek is one of those things that I just never could get into. I suppose that every episode ends with a little like philosophizing moral. Everything's like sort of a Plato's like sort of allegory kind of tell like about whatever the heck. And that was just something I never got into, like I would in Star Wars or even like Firefly, for example. I like that.
Dude, okay, let me get you into Star Trek. Do you have CBS or anything? You don't have CBS.
I mean, I have. I can get it on Amazon Prime.
No, but I think it's cost a subscription to get it.
Well, like, depends on, like, what are you trying to do? You trying to get me into Discovery, or are you trying to get me into, say, like, Picard or something like that?
You're not talking to the right Star Trek people. I'm trying to get you into Lower Decks.
Ah.
That one, if you're not a Star Trek person, that's a good one to start with.
I mean,
They're 30-minute long episodes, and they're funny as hell. Love it. And they're packed full of Star Trek nerdism. But you don't have to be a Star Trek fan to like it. It's just a really different take on Star Trek, and it's really an awesome show.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing there. I mean, we'll see. I might give it a shot. I might not. I'm gonna make you no promises on that one.
Yep.
I'm gonna make you no promises on that.
It's fun. Just watch the first one. That's all you gotta do.
So here's my bit, right? So, my mom, she has recently become a huge Star Trek head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when the hell that happened.
What happened is they are going after a more diverse crowd. And the number one growing demographic is black women. Hence is why you see a lot of shows where the black women are leads. Lower Decks, Star Trek Discovery, also to other TV shows. We're starting to see a shift in what the things that are being produced because that's the largest growing demographic that is spending money. So it sounds like your mother falls into that category. Absolutely, she's being targeted for all these new shows.
So here's what happens, right? So she started off with Discovery.
Yep.
And being the type of person she likes to watch things from the beginning. So she started watching Next Gen, then Deep Space Nine, then Voyager, then watched that one that no one likes, but before,
Enterprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Enterprise. The one I didn't like the most is Deep Space Nine. I still haven't watched that whole thing yet.
Whoa, like even I like whenever people talk to me about like, oh, you need to watch Star Trek, and like, okay, where do I start? They always say Deep Space Nine is the best. I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, it didn't catch me.
You didn't like Captain Sisko?
Captain Cisco was cool, but the stories were it was more drama and other stuff. You know, and back then when it came out, I was hardcore Star Wars and Star Trek were like spaceships and all that stuff. They were on a space station, which was a little different. Of course, they had spaceships and all that other stuff, but it was just a little different.
I should refer to the notion of a space station versus a spaceship.
But a spaceship can go places.
Well, no, yes, sure, a spaceship goes places, but at the same time, it makes more sense to have a kind of cultural melting pot of people like kind of, okay, instead of us kind of going around and meddling with the affairs of other assholes, let them come to us and with their little petty squabbles. But the station over here is minding their own business, and then next thing you know, a crisis occurs because someone snuck in a bomb, or two people don't really communicate, or what is considered what's considered good here, it doesn't work with everyone, and et cetera, et cetera. You know.
Yep. No, I do need to go back and watch that. But no, my least favorite Star Trek is Deep Space Nine.
Wait a minute. Doesn't Babylon 5 take place on a space station too?
Well, Babylon 5 has amazing writing. I watch Babylon 5 at least once every 2 years. It's written so well that it stands the test of time. Not only that, their version of sci-fi is science. It represents the way things should happen in space. Like all these other sci-fi shows, especially Star Trek and Star Wars, they have spaceships that fly like airplanes in an atmosphere. It's just stupid. You know what I'm saying? So Babylon 5 is accurate when it comes to science. Granted, it's future science, but it still, tries to predict what physics and science is today, and then kind of extrapolates what it would be like in the future.
I will say that that's one of those things that actually drew me to Firefly at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Was I was watching the first episode with a buddy before this whole pandemic occurred, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the episode, he was showing me the ship, and I'm like, wow, it's actually spinning to maintain gravity. It actually has thrusters that can turn and kind of pivot with the ship.
Yep.
So that way, if we're going forward, if you need to, you have to slow down. You have to slow down. You don't just turn off the thrusters. You have to physically turn the ship around and like blow the thrusters in the opposite direction where you want to go.
Yep.
That's hard physics right there. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's some good shit right there. That's good shit.
Yep. That's Babylon 5 in the Expanse. They use those type of realistic physics in the futuristic sci-fi. Absolutely.
Tell you what, I'm going to give you a chance here for Babylon 5. Give me the hard sell.
Crap, the hard sell. I don't know how to do that. So the hard sell, Babylon 5. Well, what's happening is it's came out in the 90s, so the graphics are dated. So the special effects.
Well, so is next gen, but you gotta I feel like you gotta let yourself lean on the wall a little bit.
Yeah, okay, cool. Rightfully so. The hard sell about Babylon 5, it is a great storyline from season 1 to season 5. There's a continuous story, and all the character development is amazing. The writing is really, really, really well thought out, and they tell these stories really well throughout the entire seasons. And it's very, very, very great, gratifying at the end of season 5 of where they take everything. But each season is very important. And the surprises that they have in there are awesome. The way they have some of the plot twists. It is a great sci-fi show, written really well. A great character development. You won't find any sci-fi show like it. And again, to me, here it is, 20, 30 years later, and I still enjoy watching this show. I even watch it more than Star Trek or Doctor Who. Well, probably not Doctor Who, but Babylon 5 is up there with Doctor Who. It's the most underrated sci-fi show ever.
I wonder. I mean, I think the biggest thing about Babylon 5 is that it probably, if I'm not wrong, for what people describe it to me is that it was a complete show.
You said a complete show?
Yeah, as though it didn't need anything additional. It didn't, like Star Trek keeps going. like kind of like Star Trek never really ends. It kind of just keeps going. Whether it be from Next Gen to Voyager to Picard, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
Versus like Babylon 5 had really the main show, and I think they had a movie or something like that, and that was it.
Yeah, they made a movie afterwards because it was so popular. They're like, let's try one more thing, and they made a movie, which was mediocre. But yeah, like you said, they planned it out from the beginning. All 5 years, it had an end. It was like, this thing's not gonna last forever. Here's where we're at, and that's why it was such a great story. It was written so well because they started with a plan to end. Like most of our American shows, they just write show to show, and I really like some anime shows because they are written with an end. Like we got 90 episodes to tell this story, and I really appreciate that. And it makes the writing so much better when you know what the conclusion is at the end, as opposed to like, okay, we lost funding, we got to somehow figure out how to end this thing.
Yep, I would say that's a criticism of American shows versus like that's a good criticism of American kind of media versus Japanese media, and I think that's actually changing a little bit now in Japan. But in American media, you do expect an end. Like you don't expect it to end. The end is never the end. Like as long as that show makes money, they'll keep going until they burn into the ground.
Yep.
Like The Simpsons probably should have ended centuries ago, but I mean they're going to keep going. They're going to keep going until they're done.
That's so cool about The Simpsons.
No, like, here's the thing, right? I realize that a good portion of humanity today, like the good portion of Americans today, probably about 30% of Americans have never lived in a world without The Simpsons.
Wow, that's deep.
Like, think about it real quick. Like, they started in 1989 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 1986 or something like that. The Simpsons has been around longer than I've been around.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. That's pretty deep.
Like Kyle has never known a world without The Simpsons. Neither have I. They've been around longer than either one of us have been alive. That is actually startling.
Yeah, still making shows.
Huh?
You're still making shows. Episodes.
I mean, I won't say. I wouldn't say. I don't know if it's funny. I don't even like. By the time I was a kid watching like television, right?
Mm-hmm.
My parents would let me watch The Simpsons. They wouldn't let me watch Family Guy, but they would let me watch The Simpsons.
Yeah, The Simpsons was the Family Guy for the early '90s.
Like, but that's an example of just like American media. Like, they'll just keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a couple of long runners like that in Japan. Like, you ever heard of Detective Conan?
Who?
Or Case Closed will be in America.
I think I've seen it, but it wasn't dubbed, so I never watched it yet.
So
I'm googling it now.
So Detective Conan, I'll just go, and for those of you in TV land who don't know it, Detective Conan is a long-running anime series, over 1,000 chapters, of which like over 1,000 chapters, 24, like been going on since 1994. This thing is old as I am. Like, and they've been just going full throttle. It's basically about a detective who gets transformed into a kid by some evil organization. They have transformed him into a child. And now he's trying to go through and to stop the organization before they, trying to stop the organization and find a cure to the poison that made him into a child. And he's been searching for this for about 26 years now. Like, I don't know what to say, D.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see if I can find it on Netflix. I think I've seen it on Netflix.
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know if it's on Netflix or not. It's not bad.
I remember seeing it. I saw it, and I'm like, I didn't watch it because it wasn't subtitled, but it absolutely was at one point on Netflix.
There was a English dub of it, where the English dub of it was like that's the one I originally watched when I was a kid, like in 2004. It came to America and they dubbed the first 5 seasons. Okay. This thing has 26 seasons, by the way.
Yeah. Spin-offs, films, live action, other popularity, references, accolades. I'm looking at the wiki of it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like it's
another
one.
one that I don't know about, but I hear One Piece is up there.
One Piece just hit 1,000 chapters. Actually, just last week. I remember that was another anime that I've been reading since I first discovered it in like 2004, 2005.
I've never watched anything One Piece only because of Bleach.
Oh,
And
you're a Bleach head.
right, and I'm like, I think I'm like 400 episodes in the Bleach, and I'm like, we haven't concluded anything. We got like Inception like a mofo in it. I'm like, story embedded in a story embedded in a story. I'm like, finish the stories, man. Stop starting new stories.
So yeah, you're kind of I don't know what to tell you on that one, man. Like some of these things are like there's like a lot of anime filler.
Yeah,
So because I mean the comic books are coming out as they're going along in Japan. So they have to put some filler arcs down to kind of let the comic book get ahead.
yeah.
And so you're stuck with filler and filler and filler. And Bleach had like the worst filler,
Yes, it did. Oh my
like
gosh.
the worst filler. But one thing I will say is that One Piece actually had some of the best filler though.
Really?
Like One Piece is so good as in like the guy who's writing One Piece has been thinking about it for since he was a kid.
Wow.
He's been like writing it in his head since he was like a kid.
Yeah, that's awesome. We got all these stories to tell.
Yeah, so by the time he wrote this, like everything has been planned out. We're 1,000 chapters in, and it doesn't feel like as though it's like it's too stretched out or anything like that. It feels like as though he's doing exactly what he wants to do with it.
Do I need to start watching One Piece?
I honestly don't know if I can say that to you. So it's on Netflix. But here's the bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is over 900.
I've heard.
Not there's over about 900 episodes of One Piece.
I've heard.
I don't know if I can suggest that to you. You have things to do with your day.
Yep.
You are a responsible adult, DeGratier.
Yeah.
You are what the kids call like you're not. You have things to do with your life. I'm not going to make that. Kyle needs his father. I'm not going to make that suggestion to you.
Can Kaya watch it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Kyle can watch it. Like that show is so. It's pretty child friendly. All things considered. Well, in some regards, yeah, it's pretty child friendly.
Okay.
No more. I'll tell you what. It's no more violent than say Bleach, or It's no more violent than say Bleach or Naruto is.
Okay. He watches G.I. Joe every now and then.
All right, so I think a couple of the newer movies, the new episodes, like the ones they have on Netflix, has it so where it's like TV-14, so there might be a little bit more cursing.
Okay. Understood.
So give you a heads up. I don't know how you feel about them cursing in front of the children.
Yep. That's good to know.
But just to give you a heads up on that.
Yep. Well, hey, I'm gonna wrap it up. It's 8:00 here.
All right. I can hear Kyle screaming in the background there.
Yeah, he's playing Mario Kart.
Oh, he's playing Mario Kart, huh?
Yeah, Kyle's a little gamer now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And bad.
Yeah, well, it's okay. I just hacked one of my Wii's the other night, so I downloaded a couple of 100 games onto it.
What games you got on it?
Pretty much the entire NES library and probably 100 games from the 64 genre. I'll have to go find some more ROMs and get the other platforms. I want to find the Atari ROMs. I think I have those somewhere. And then Atari, Sega, and then Genesis. I want to find those platforms.
All right, so you gotta put your boy on Sonic.
Yeah, he's a Sonic fan. I think Sonic. I want to say I saw Sonic on there.
I would hope so, D. I hope so. Like, if you don't have your son playing Sonic the Hedgehog, I will be honestly very disappointed in you.
He's gonna play it. He's a Sonic fan.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Because otherwise, I have to come over to her and be like, D, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I need to get him Sonic because he likes it. And then I'm trying to get him to do racing games and fun stuff that aren't like the things that I grew up on, like Contra and Metal Gear broke stuff up all the time.
He's a little young for Contra, man.
Yeah. No, I think
Like,
I think it was one of the first games he played a long time ago.
Shoot, yeah, I wonder how far he got.
You played the game.
I'm 26 years old, and I probably can't get past the first 3 levels in Contra.
What?
That game's hard.
You did that on one man. What are you talking about?
Well, you could do that with one man.
Yeah, I used to go through the whole game on one back in the day. One person, one player. Maybe 3.
I call horse crap to that.
I can't do it now, but I mean, I can probably get pretty far. It's not that complicated.
Right. I was like, I know you guys can't see my face, but there is a look. My eyebrows are really upside the high up on my face. I have a look on my face like.
Dude, people used to go through entire Mario games on one player. That's how we used to play the NES back in the day.
You guys lived a hard life back in the day, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. Yes, but that's what happens when you're a kid. You have everything down, memorized so much that it's just automatic. Even now when I play, it's just muscle memory. That's why I can probably still do really well. I can beat the game easily. I don't get as far as I used to do, but I can easily beat the game every time I play now, even now.
I'm gonna call you on that bet. I'm gonna have to come over and we're gonna play Contra. I'm gonna have to call you on that bet.
Come on, fire it on up. Huh? Because for me, I still regularly play Contra, so come on.
All right, I'll call you on that bet. All right.
I got the cartridge and I'll fire it up, a couple times a year.
All right, so in that case, indeed, let me ask you a question. Where can people find you so they can call you on your bullshit?
Man, they can find me on all social media platforms, including YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram. And my names, all my handles are DeGrazier Daniels, and then my cyber handle is Jazzman81. Jazzman81. So you can find me there.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shane Grant. You can find me at Shane Grant Stops, such as Facebook, where I may or may not look at it, or LinkedIn, where I also may or may not look at it, or you can bother D and tell them to bother me. Tell them how much I'm full of shit so that you guys can just emphasize that kind of notion there. So I want to say thank you guys so much. We're going to be getting back to a regularly scheduled, we intend to get back to a regularly scheduled kind of program with the show soon. There's
and what else? We're on Mondays.
Yep, we're switching our date. So instead of going on Thursdays now, Tuesday, we're switching over to Mondays.
Yep.
Because unlike Garfield, we love Mondays, right, D?
That's right.
We'll be presenting every other Monday. So we'll be here at your house every other Monday. So the second and fourth Monday of every month. Barring holidays or family emergencies and the like.
Yep.
We love you, but we don't love you that much. I'm sorry.
Awesome. Hey, thanks everyone for joining. I hope you got something out of this content. And if you want to help support us, just share the video. Share. You see it? Look at the screen. See the button at the bottom. Press. It says share. Press it right. Press it right now. Share your video. Yep. Share the video. Share the video.
We also appreciate if you don't want to share the video with the button, you can always share your video with your friends by talking and describing it to them. I would like to think we're both very handsome devils. Wouldn't you agree, D? I mean, wouldn't you want your friends to see these lovely motherfuckers? Come on.
Also, press that, smash that like button, work that like button, and hey, you are invited to join us on the show. So if you want to come hang out and chat with us, leave a comment below, and we'll get you onto the show with us. We love chatting with everybody. We love guests here at the Everything Ruined show. We're going to ruin something. Come join us.
If you guys have an opinion or want to talk, just talk about bullcrack, go ahead and talk to us here. We'll be more than willing to have a conversation. Hey, D, are we on YouTube again? We
are on YouTube. I'm live streaming back on YouTube. We had got a couple strikes, bans for some music, something. It was legitimate. But still, YouTube, someone had filed a claim on it, so I haven't been using YouTube because their copyright system is very intense. So I'm worried about getting flagged. But I started back on YouTube as well.
Well, hopefully we won't get flagged again. I've been cursing this entire video here, so we'll see what happens.
Yep. With that being said, everyone have a good one. Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
All right, Shane, stay on. Okay. Stop recording. Stop the streaming. Let me hit the end here. Boom. End. That one's ended. That one will end. End stream. Boom.